Welcome back to another Conversations with Paul and
Hey, hey,
Connect
hey.
Story Solutions.
Welcome. I'm doing pretty good today. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a good day for a good day. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. It's what is it? Thursday, June 4th already.
June, halfway of the year. We are there. We are there.
Usually after um, Memorial Day, time just flies, right? It gets hot. Everybody gets suspended in the air because it's so hot, and then we'll be back to fall already.
Yeah, that's my favorite time is fall. I said we need to start buying Christmas gifts already.
Oh, here you go with that. Well, I don't. I no longer have little ones. They're pretty much super young adults.
What
Um,
does that have
you
to do
know,
with gifts?
well, I mean, because most time when you buy kids, you buy stuff that they want. You buy things they need and want, right?
Not necessarily.
Well, for my grown kids, um, I kind of just focus on what they need.
Okay, I got you. And I say not necessarily.
10 things, and it's not 10 things to unpackage and unbox either.
Yeah, no. You ain't wrapping up nothing.
Now, I don't really do too much rapping, but that's why I have rappers. I have people to rap for me. No big deal there. You
Yeah.
know. Before we get into today's topic, I definitely wanted to add something off the top. Right. This
Hmm.
is something I'm thinking about, talking about, kind of been dropping little seeds around about. Right. Because it's something that I read a few weeks ago that just kind of tickled my thought process. Right.
Okay.
Have you ever made a decision and then realized later that that decision was actually made for you by a decision you made previously?
Yes, absolutely. Um, Going through divorce. But we're talking about business. But honestly, with bringing that up, like that decision of marriage and divorce really helped to jumpstart my business and entrepreneurial endeavors. And so it put another type of fire up under me um, to generate multiple sources of income, to be honest.
So what
What
I
about
hear you so what I hear
Okay.
you saying so what I hear you saying is, which you actually leading right into the thought process. It's
Oh, I
not
don't
about
walk right into it.
yeah. It's not about making better decisions per se. We're not talking about that. We're
Okay.
talking about we're talking about what decisions actually do once you have made them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you made a decision to do X, which led you to doing Y and Z.
Mm, okay. Okay. I guess I spoke too soon. Too much too soon. Maybe
Okay,
that was bubbling at the top.
no, it's fine.
Um,
Let it out. Let it out.
thank you. Thank you. Um, so I would say anytime as a business owner that I decide that I'm going to, even as simple as introduce myself to someone I don't know, as simple as tell them what I do and say my offer, like that decision there has led me to increase my prices from one point to a next simply by having that one yes, by deciding that I was going to put that one offer out there or that particular offer. Once I made that decision, it changed the game for me. So it was like all I needed was one person to say yes to this price. Once they say yes to this price, I'm never going back to that old price, right? But you do have to decide. And a lot of times people don't want to decide. They want life to just happen and fall in place for them so that they don't have to make a decision. So they float around in this space of indecision, which essentially is making a decision. And that's why they wonder, why am I stagnant? Why am I not moving or progressing? And it's because your decision, you not saying a yes or no to something, it's going to leave you just stagnant. So
Well,
you got to say, yeah, no.
you went under the surface with that one, so that's good. I'm gonna bring it back up a little bit, right?
Okay, bring it back up.
At the surface, right? So what you're saying is decisions don't just sit; they move, irregardless of whether you make a decision or you don't make the decision you need to make, but you're still making the decision even in your
Yes.
stuck moment, right?
Yes.
Because decisions follow each other, decisions believe each other, and decisions are loyal to other decisions that you make. And once you
Oh, I like that.
see that, right? Once
I
you
like
know it, you can't really unknow it.
yeah. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
I like that. I like that. So bring in. I want you to bring a mindset angle into this for me, right?
Mhm.
Um, Mindset coach, right?
Mhm.
Um, what does it feel like? What do you think it feels like, or what do you know it to feel like when decisions are out of alignment?
Oh,
What is
I
it
told
like for a founder too? Like because personal and being a business owner is all it's still all relative. It all ties in the same. But however you want to, bottle it up, I'm totally okay with that.
yeah, I would just say like physically, your body is going to speak to you sometimes before you even have the words to articulate it. And so if you find yourself where your stomach starts to hurt or your head is hurting or you start feeling sick, like or you can't sleep, like a lot of times you're betwixt between some decision making that needs to happen. And so there's a part of you that doesn't want to make the decision. There's a part of you that there's what you need to do and then what you want to do. And you don't necessarily want to do what you know, in fact, you should be doing. So, internally, spiritually, mentally, you are pulled in two different directions. And it's typically because you haven't committed to making a decision. And so, I would say not enough people pay attention to physically how they are responding to situations throughout the day. Prime example, after I have meetings, I find myself wanting to chew on something. Like I gotta get a snack, something crunchy. Like I gotta just nibble on something. And I've started to instead like go outside and go for a walk, get some fresh air. And with doing that, it helps whatever that anxious feeling or that riled up feeling that I'm feeling, it subsides. And it's like this same chemical release of me eating on something is the same as me going outside for that walk. So there is some science behind it. Um, and and yeah, so you got to pay attention to how you're moving, really study yourself. And I don't know how oftentimes we take the time to pay attention to what we're doing or not doing. When you're in your phone, you know you should be doing something, for your business, something productive. Or do you find yourself taking the time to uh, escape for a minute? Is it that you need a mental break, so that's why you like doom scroll? And how can you be more productive with that time?
Yeah, you touched on a couple of points there. I'll say the last piece in terms of doing something, going outside, eating something, drinking something. That's the somatic, right? Somatic meaning body, right? Because like you said, your body tells on you, right? When you have things built up, anxiety, fear, frustration, stress, those things, your body starts to act out. So that's the somatic approach. That's why they say exercising, stretching, doing something physical actually helps to release that energy that you have built up inside of your body. So that's a good point
Corey,
there.
yeah, it's a part of your success as a business owner.
Yeah,
Is you have to move, whether
yeah,
it's mentally, emotionally, executing an email, but physically, you have to move.
correct, correct. And then the other two points that you made was being aware. We've talked about awareness on other episodes, right? And that's super important. Always, you have to try to be aware. And if you're not, what do you need? If you're not aware and you're stuck, what do you need to do to bring yourself back to that awareness? That's another important piece, right? And then personal development. So, like you said, reading things, listening things, talking to things, having a team of people, right? In order, personal development, in order to continuously grow, there should be goals for that. What does that look like for people, right? And so, I want to
I
wrap
want
up. Go ahead. What you gonna say
I
before I
want
wrap up?
to ask you something in regards to that awareness piece because there are people who are aware, they are well aware, and they're not taking any actions towards changing it, even though they
Mhm.
know they should, even though they know it would benefit them. And so,
Yeah.
what do you say to your clients in situations like that?
Awareness. Yeah, you're right. So people can be aware but not take action. A lot of times they don't know how to take action. They don't have a tool to take action, right? They've never been trained to take action in certain regards. And so what happens is fear builds up. So what I do is I utilize an approach with people on how to take action, right? And it's something really simple. It all depends on who they are. I try to get to know who that person is that I'm working with, that I'm coaching with, that I'm dealing with, right? So we can um, make the move together. I mean, let's walk to the water fountain and go get some water, right? let's jump in the car and go to wherever we need to go. We're in this together, but I can't lift your end of the deal. Once we're there, I'm gonna lift my portion, you lift your portion, and usually that kind of eases some angst, but it also it's that falls into leadership. Now I'm not going to touch on that word because that's a whole another thing, right? But to answer your question, it's there's a disconnect or yeah, disconnect to awareness and deciding to take action. And a lot of times it's fear. I call it FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? Because a lot of times we're in fear of not really in a negative aspect, right? Sometimes people worry about other people, but a lot of times it could be what you call it imposter syndrome, the fear of being great, the fear of being noticed, the fear of being the light in the room. Those are instances where people are pulled back.
Yeah, I find that with some of my clients, they know that they're really great, but they've always, especially transitioning from the workforce and working for someone else into their own business, they have systemically been contained, and you can only go but this far. So where you have wanted to do great and grand things, you've been declined, rejected. But that's in that setting. Now when you come on your own, you have the freedom to do and dream as big as however you want, but you still find yourself confined. And it reminds me of a quote from Harriet Tubman that says, I would have freed more people if only they would have known they were slaves. And so it's one of those things where you have to break out of those mental, that mental imprisonment where you feel like either I'm not deserving enough, I'm not good enough, um, I'm doing too much, too little, so like you said, this narrative that sometimes we tell ourselves can really keep us from fulfilling the responsibility that we have with the gift that we've been given, and that is to execute.
Sometimes people don't even know what they don't know, right? And programming and being taught a certain skill set, yeah, it can definitely put you in a box. Um, and once you're outside of that box, you're like, well, where do I go now? Where are my resources? Where are my skill sets for these things, right? But before you get to that, a lot of people don't even know. So when we talk about like planning, strategy, activity or tactical movements, even those three phases, as simple as those words sound, those words get misused and misplaced a lot because people
Yeah.
don't understand where they should fit, right? Where
Yes.
those fit into, and what is it that you need to do in order to fulfill what those word placements are, right? And so,
And that's why you need a business coach. I mean, really, because you need help just navigating that space.
Yeah. You need it's called in when they say invest in yourself, they're not necessarily saying you spend some money on yourself to for educational things, but a lot of times it's investing in yourself is like you said, putting yourself in the environment and the proximity of people that'll naturally pull you up because there's a natural push and pull. It could also be the environment you in and the people you're with. And it could be, a lot of times we have day ones, we're like, yeah, my day ones, but maybe those day ones ain't really, that's not their role for that, right? So you have to put yourself in certain proximities and certain environments in order to continuously grow. It's like growing. It's like a garden. If you plant your seeds in
Absolutely.
bad dirt, wrong dirt, is it going to grow? It might grow, but is it going to grow to its full potential? And so that's the trickery there, right? And we can't
Trickery.
fool ourselves to think. A lot of times, I think we fool ourselves to think we're higher or we're farther along than we really are. And when you take a step back, that's why writing things down are important, right? Writing goals down and objectives is important, but understanding what is it that you're really trying to achieve, and then being able to have those conversations and being able to build your confidence by learning about yourself, learning about other things, and just taking that time. And then, more importantly, you can learn all you want, but if you're not taking action, because there's data in failure, and it's not really failure. You're just learning another lesson. The failure is the vehicle to learning the lesson because you tried, you attempted something, you made a decision to do something.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had workshops before where nobody came. But guess what? In the midst of that, I learned how to do some website design and editing. I learned how I created my content. I learned how to do better graphics. I learned how to get the word out a little bit better for next time and my timeline of things and when it should be executed versus what I did. So, you never lose on this journey. You always learn. The only time you lose is when you stop. And when you stop, that's when, what's gonna come of that. The results are definitely not gonna be what you want. But one of the most important things that you mentioned, Corey, was time. Time. And I remember being so overwhelmed and so frustrated that, like you said, I thought I should be here. And it's like you only been doing it 6 months. Why do you think you should be all the way over here? Like it takes time to get clear and it takes experiences to understand, okay, who am I serving? How am I going to best serve them? And so that's not going to come overnight. And so one of the main things as an entrepreneur you got to understand is embracing the fact that this is a journey. And you keep staying on it, you're going to get better and better, but it takes time.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's good stuff. So the question is, I'm gonna close out this segment here. The question here is, um, do your
What's the question?
decisions know? Do your decisions know each other?
Break that down. Break
So
that
we
down a
talk.
little.
When we make decisions, a lot of times, our decisions we made actually come from the decisions we made previously. So do our previous, current, and possibly our future decisions, do they know each other? Do they operate together? Are they friend or are they foe? Am I going to stop today and start tomorrow? If I stop today, I'm making a decision, right? Does tomorrow know that I'm stopping today?
You know what? I'm glad you said that because sometimes, like for example, with me, you know, got a doctor's appointment, and I see that on my calendar for the next day, right? So I need to decide whatever may conflict with that. I need to communicate that, hey, I may be late, I may be on time, or whatever that is, but That's the first thing I thought about when you talk about do the decisions know each other. I know, the decisions for tomorrow, how I need to move for tomorrow, what needs to be communicated today for that to be executed effortlessly. So that is an amazing point. Can you elaborate on it even more, though?
Yeah, it's not about a right or wrong thing. It's just really, does your decisions know each other, right? What is your intent? What are you trying to achieve? And what decisions do you make behind that? Because again, decisions keep moving. They don't stop. You know what I mean? So it's hmm?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the reason I was so dramatic with it because I'm thinking about like business plan. How often we talk about either I'm gonna update this business plan, I'm gonna start the business plan, or I finish the business plan and now I'm gonna execute on the business plan. And how much time can go by in following through with that. And again, like you mentioned, like these decisions, like, okay. And then I think also taking into account, again, time within 6 months, what decisions, what is the end goal? And so this is what the process that I introduce my clients to is what is ultimately that you want? What's at the very end? And then with the visualization, the details of that, then how do you need to move now in order to get to that spot? What decisions need to be made? Who do you need to let go? Who do you need to bring in? Right. So I've had to look at some things like, you know what, maybe I should be doing some one on ones with this person and really cultivating this relationship versus just a hey and bye girl.
And
And
I
so
give
it,
and I give you a scenario off of what you just said. Does your decision today, is it gonna be in alignment with your decision when you look back 6 months down the road? We're just surrounded by decisions. I mean, I don't want to overwhelm the pot, but we're just overwhelmed with decisions, right? So just think about those things, right? It's entrepreneurship, being a founder, business owner, whatever category you put on yourself. It's life is about decisions, and it all boils down to you as the individual what those decisions are. But I want to let you. I know you got some points that you want to talk about before you drop off. Floor is yours.
well, I do want to piggyback off of that last thought because, like you said, it's a lot of decisions to make. Oh my goodness, it's so overwhelming. And I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister. I wear a lot of different hats. I do service work, run a business, I teach, I do all these different things. And so, what I had to do to help me, how do you simplify decision making? And I found a method that works for me, and that is called establishing my that it's around the act of establishing my value system. And when I know that these are the things that are important to me, then I design my life in a way that reflects that. And so what I would do is make a list of all the things that are important to me. And then I would say rank those things. What's number one, that's number two, and rank them. Then I would focus on the top three. And I look at my life and say, do the people, the relationships, the activities, look at my calendar, do all these activities I got on my little calendar, are they reflecting the top three things that I say are important to me? And if it's not, it gotta go. And so the top three things that are important to me is God, my family, and a peace of mind. If it's not bringing me peace, it gotta go. And I can feel the unsettledness. My shoulders get tight and raised up. I'm feeling like anxious and stuff. I gotta take a step back and really be like, okay, it's time. That's a signal that it's time to evaluate and assess.
Right.
So I do want to leave the people with that.
All right. No, that's good stuff. Thank you for sharing. That was a good
Yeah.
conversation. I'm gonna follow up with some other things regarding decisions after, but again, I'm gonna let you say what you need to say.
Well, I mean, the main thing I just want to throw out there is to remind people that as you are making these decisions, you had to think about what your one decision, and it could be as small as, are you going to brush your teeth tonight or not? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to go to the gym or not? These small decisions, you have to think about the relationships. Who does it affect around me? Who does it affect around me? And I bring that up because we have an event coming up, Roots, realizing our opportunities together. And with realizing our opportunities together, at the core of that is the relationship. And at the core of your relationship, it's going to be based off of what decisions are you making and how does it impact those relationships that you have. So when you decide to show up or not show up, if you just and then how you show up, if you decide to show up late or on time or early, you know, these type of decisions can impact and shift relationships significantly. With relationships shifted significantly, it can affect the opportunities that you have. And what we're looking to do with this event is to stand on the pillars of establishing a strong foundation, establishing a strong root system for your business. And those three pillars look like, what do your relationships look like? What does your character look like? And what does your systems look like? Right. So I want to throw out there this event for if you're in North Carolina, if you're in the area, um, to consider attending that event. And that's on Thursday, June 18th. And I know you're gonna talk about it later. So I won't bore anybody more with that.
Yeah,
But
no, we can talk about that. We can, because that goes into I wanted to not just us express the event itself. However, there's planning, there's developing, and there's
Mhm.
execution, right? Which is all decisions. Decisions. Once you make a decision, it's downstream. Everything else follows the decision, right? So I think we're in a good place in terms of decisions. But roots being an opportunity, as you said, to root the the event is named Roots for a reason, right? I saw a quote that says, "Even if the trees forget, the roots don't."
Ooh, I'm gonna take that to go. Take that
Bag
to
it,
go.
take that to go, right? So
Mhm.
it's there's always decisions at the root, right? And this root event is rooted in making in the core piece. I would say is decisions, the decision to show up, the decision to be present, the decision
Mhm.
to to meet new people, the decision to let's not gatekeep, let's not fool around, let's not try to because I don't like going to events um, um, that is just a lot of gatekeeping and I'll say fugaziness.
Okay.
There's a lot out there, right? This is not what this is. This is where you come, open up, bring your tools, bring your weapons of business uh, growth, and let's go, right? Figure out where you sit at the table. You might be sitting at the head of your table in your own place. But when you come to an event like this, you might just be amongst on the side of the table, one of the chairs on the side of the table, and figure out where you sit. Because nothing grows without community. Nothing grows without people. We're in business owners, but guess what? We're in the people business. That's the industry we're in. Because business doesn't grow without people, right? And so, I'm not trying to be sound inspiring or anything there, per se, but
You did for me. You
yeah,
inspired me.
nah, I'm not trying to inspire. People just listen. We just got to get on it. We leaving too much time. We're leaving too much opportunity. We're leaving money on the table. We don't need to chase anything.
You're
We
right
need
about it.
cultivate so it comes to us. Things naturally come to us. Think
Mm.
about when you get up and you going to work. It's a barbecue, right? What's serious about a barbecue? You gotta have some food, and some fun, right? And those things got to be put together, tables and chairs. So let's get that so we can have some fun doing business, enjoy. And
That's
everybody get
right.
abundance is out here. Enough of it is out here for us, right? So
It's just waiting on us.
let's just get to it. That's really where I'm at. You know, So it's really breaking down what the understanding of certain things is, and that's what conversations with Core and T'Farri Solution brings. We going deep. We need to have these real conversations. These are real conversations we're having with ourselves, right? We're planning an event, and we're executing an event, developing an event. There's a lot that goes into that, and what people don't see is the time, the effort, the stress, the 4 o'clocks, the 3 o'clock in the morning emails and text messages and things that get developed. For those that don't do it, that get the opportunity to come in and enjoy an event. Understand there's effort, there's initiative, there's decisions behind that. That's part of being a business owner. That's a part of being a partner or having a partnership or trying to develop or trying to cultivate and grow your client base. Next conversation is, do you have customers or clients? There's a distinction on that, but we'll save that for later.
I like
Um,
it.
you know what I mean? So just got to bring it all together today. That's all it is. Everything is downstream. Everything is about um, alignment, and alignment isn't a feeling. It's actually an agreement between decisions and between things. That's what alignment is. Because feelings will come and they'll go. Period.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Right?
Well, I know you're going to continue this conversation
Yeah.
and the flow with it. I'm sorry, y'all. I do have to leave out today. But hey, we'll be back.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. You showed up. You made time.
You right.
Right?
You
It's
right.
the decision to show up. Right? 30
That
minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. It doesn't matter. You showed up. So no sorry. Go keep doing what you're doing. Keep building for everybody. Your clients, your partnerships, your community, your family. Keep
yeah.
building. Just keep touching on it. 30 minutes is better than no minutes.
All right.
All right.
That's good because sometimes we forget that. Something
True.
better than nothing.
True.
But yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm gonna see y'all next time. We
Peace.
out.
Thanks for being present.
I'm
Thanks for
out.
being present. All right. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, everybody. Thank you for hanging in there today. Just good conversation. Tafari's at another event. We have the Roots event that is coming up, and so she's definitely out there doing some field work and trying to get some new business going, right, and get some participants for the event as well. So um, let's see. Let me. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a special guest in there today with us. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me get a special guest in there with us today. Hold up. Let's see. Let's get a special guest in there. You guys like special guests. And more to come on that too. We got a couple of different business owners that we're actually on the list coming up. So stay tuned for that. We want to definitely get other testimonials in, other people in, other perspectives, other scenarios. We want to have people in here. Again, we're trying to demystify a lot of the business stuff that's happening, right? So boom. On that note, let me get the special guest up in here. Look who's in the building. Do
Ooh,
y'all recognize this
boss.
guy right here?
Man, you look kind of old. This guy. I turn my camera the right way. Good
Yeah,
Lord.
well, look outside. You on the deck.
Yeah, so I was just sitting here watching, and
Nice.
I said, "Yo, tag me in, coach." You know what I'm saying? Like,
No doubt.
since homegirls, Tafari had to be out.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
on standby. You know what I'm saying? So just to bounce, just to be a reflector for you, because it's
Yeah,
your
no
show.
doubt.
I'm just
Balance the boards. I
yeah,
get it. I get
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah, so add some 2 cents if excuse me, add 2 cents if needed.
Yeah,
And,
what you got? You heard about our conversation today, talking about some decisions and how decisions work. What's your thoughts on that?
well, decisions. Wow. decisions are. Oh man, hold up. Okay, here we go. Decisions, man. I like that. I like the little thing you put up there though. Your previous decision, no, your current decision, no, yeah, that was bugged out. That was like I was like, he's on it. Um, but to change the link to that, um, every decision affects a future decision. So you know, if you make decision A, then your next decision immediately changes. Sometimes the scenario has to change what you knew.
Yeah.
And one of the tricks in life and business, because business is life, is being able to see around corners. Boom, book, book.
That's a book.
Yeah. So and know that if I pick option A, these going to be the two decisions that'll face me. If I pick option B, these are two decisions, and then learn how to go ahead and make the decision and deal with it. So yeah, decision making is a skill. People, and we like always talking about the people that got gut, they in tune in the gut, but it's a skill. It's kind of like sticking your fork in the electrical outlet. You know, eventually you'll be like, oh yeah, I don't need to do that no more. You'll say, yeah,
That's
that's
hard
not the
body.
decision. Yeah, so
That's hard body right there.
yeah, but nah, that was good stuff though. That was good. I like the perspective, and it's you know, there's a lot to it. I mean, but it goes into tactical tactical abilities to execute strategy, but we're not gonna go that hard right now. So so I'm coming in to use my syllables over here. That's right. Tactical. But
Yeah.
but decision making is a tactical vocation.
Yeah. It is.
And the thing is that no matter how many days, how long you've been in business, you're gonna make a decision at least one. But even if that decision is getting out the bed, so you're gonna make you're gonna make one decision, at least one decision every day. That's how it becomes a skill because you have to do it every day.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Word up.
Absolutely. With no
Yeah.
hesitation. You know.
Mhm.
It's I'm trying to pull up this thing here, but here we go. Not now. Not now, but right now.
Mm.
Um, what's funny about decisions is that, and the reason we keep talking about decisions is that life is full of it. That's all you're ever doing is making a decision. And so, there's three phases of decisions too, right? Which is something I didn't get too deep into earlier. But you have, again, decisions follow decisions, right? Something that's the overall what we're talking about. Decisions believe decisions, right? Um, um, it's the thing that you can't really name it, but you know decisions will know when decisions are off, but you got to pay attention to it, right?
Mm.
Um, and then decisions are loyal to decisions, right? There's a structure and a commitment to decisions. So, for example, I'm going to be a business owner. What type of business owner, right? Um, am I hands on? Am I hands off? Am I selling a product or a service? Is my business going to be customer driven or client driven, right? Because then if it's customer driven, it's most of the time it's transactional. If it's client, then it's relationship. Now, am I prepared to have relationship driven businesses? Because there's capacity. You have to be able to, because you're going to absorb certain energy, when you're building your business, your practice, right? Your services, to carry those relationships. Then you have to continuously nurture those relationships. So it comes with a lot, right? And so again, those are all decisions, following decisions, believing decisions, and being loyal to decisions. You know what I mean? Um,
No doubt.
break break down something for me with you're okay. You're a CPA. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
what they say.
I'm gonna give you a floor on this one. You're a credentialed CPA, and you could
Yeah.
go work anywhere in the world for anybody.
Hmm.
Why did you make the decision to have a firm of the size with the people that you have to service the community and the customers and the clients? I should say clients
Say
that
the
we
fact.
have.
Well, yo, the decision is, oh, well, I think it was because, quite simply, I was meant to be. I mean, I
Mhm.
came in, always working with my father with his practice, and but that's not necessarily the decision point, because I did go work for other people, and I
Right.
could have easily stayed on that path. But the decision became, yeah, it's froze out here. But the decision came with, man, I, I like small business. I love small business. Like, I really love small businesses. I love people that start businesses and execute and succeed. And I have, that's my passion. If people want to say passion, it's small business. So I realized that, man, the things I was experiencing, the knowledge I was gaining, that it wasn't available to the community in the as much as we need. So my decision was to say, look, man, I got to go back. I was entrepreneur before it anyway,
Yeah.
but I was just like, I turned away because I would be making way more money personally right now. But I decided it wasn't me, because it wasn't doing it for me. What was important to me was to be able to be a resource and be around small business and help small businesses grow and provide services to them, and mostly to share what I've learned too. And where my perspective came uniquely is that I was an entrepreneur and in business before I got licensed. Had done accounting before I was licensed. So the CPA license and the corporate accounting experience didn't define me. It was just another tool in my arsenal. And it led to that. And then, as you said, I mean, decisions lead to decisions. Because you have the message. I honestly, when I started, I was going to just be sole practitioner, work from the crib, make whatever, be there at that time, when I, be there, meet kids at the bus stop, I'm there and all, this was what I thought.
Hmm.
But nah, that wasn't me on no level, on neither level. It came to be me. So, and then I thought about it back to what I said. Like, I like building things. In fact, I was just thinking a few minutes ago, which is why, listen, I like building things. And that, in the entrepreneurial history that I've had, building something is a lot harder. It's very difficult. Um, but it's if you're on it, you're into it. So I wanted to build something. But I said, well, look, I want to be a resource not only on the client level, but on the upcoming professionals, because young accountants have out like this. So the decisions just keep going along, man. And I think now it's very good because the walls have been broken. Everybody can wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to work for myself today. Just like that. Just instant. I'm working for myself. Hi. I'm mid CEO,
Right.
Capricorn. How you doing? You know, and like, and so, and there's a lot of misinformation. So, but I yield on that. I'm gonna leave that because we got realizing our opportunities together. Culture, knowledge, and rejuvenation. Man, that's heavy right there. That's
Yeah, man.
that's
It's deciding to do that though, right? It's deciding to be that.
well, yes. I mean, what I was going to add to your lexicon too, though, and part of the conversation is that you have to own your decisions too.
Correct.
So for me, owning them is I made the decision, whether it works or not. I own it. I made the decision. You can say accountability, whatever, but you got to own the decision.
Correct.
Because even if you made a mistake, to correct it, you have to make another decision, but you have to own your original action. You have to say, yeah, that wasn't right. Yeah, I shouldn't have taken that client. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have sent that email. Maybe I shouldn't have bought this brand new computer and I have 0 clients. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have leased that Mercedes and I have no clients. It's decisions, that we have to go with. But it's cool. But I think that's the like for those of us that are on it. That's what's fun to me. I mean,
you go through, I mean, if you're not having no feel good meetings with yourself and others, but you really deciding to show up, you deciding to be present, you deciding to even walk through the confusion or the unorganized room of thought, the room of ideas, the room of just nothing. It's just stuff. Let's go in here, right? And let's organize this room, right? Or this room is empty. How are we going to shape it? How are we going to design it? How are we going to build it into something? And when you and it, yeah, it is, it's made to be fun, especially if you have the right people in the room. Now, you have the wrong people in the room, you run across wrong situations. Again, those just allow you, there's no challenge, no change, right? So why would something change or need to be adjusted if you don't really have problems? There's no solutions,
answers.
or no answers, right? So
yeah. See, you don't mess. I got a question, but go ahead.
Yeah, what's your question?
All right, it's not all kilter.
That's your question, son.
No, what I'm saying is, so look, because if y'all haven't imagined, we talk offline a whole lot. So look, the thing is, if I guess it's like positioning. If let's say I'm like the target audience for this event, for any of these networking events, and I decide to go, that's a decision there. What kind of takeaway could I seek to have from going to said event?
Great question. Well, this is kind of how my brain frames things, right? Even if it's not presented to me, my brain frames it this way, and so this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm sharing with the other team members to help make this event what we think it should be, right? And again, it's about knowing your role at the table. Okay, planting that seed. It's an event of pulling people together. So we see realizing opportunities together, right? an event of culture, knowledge, and rejuvenation. What does that even mean? Right? We can use those words all we want. People are still going to gatekeep. People may show up without intention. People may show up without the ability to be truly present. But then there are those that will, that are really passionate, that are really into it, that are really this. What I think is under the skin is, and this is something that I'm learning in the last, really intently paying attention to in the last couple of years, especially the last year. This year itself is demonstrating some things to me. But it's about being the intent behind planning, the intent behind developing, the intent behind executing. And all that relates to skill, furthering your skills, personal development, and cultivating the relationships. Whether they're the right relationships or not, you won't know unless you try. So a lot of what we're underutilized and what we're undercapitalized in our communities. Small businesses, Black businesses are have a deficit or defeat in a lot of different ways. The numbers are staggering in terms of 96% of small businesses are sole proprietors. So it means they don't have any employees, right? So are we actually empowering our people in our communities? Are we actually creating economic development within our communities, true economic development, right? So I'm hoping that how this event or any event I go to, how it's pulled together and how it finishes out, it demonstrates, it shows where people can actually pick up and say, I can go and apply these planning, strategy, and execution to my own business. Not just talking, not just having resources, not just meeting people, getting a business card, throwing it in the thing. There's a process. You get a business card, or you have a digital business card. So for me, I go to an event, I have a digital business card. People go, you have a hard business card? Well, I do need to get some made anyway. But no, I have a digital business card. I share my information with you. I get your information at the same time. Now my system kicks in. It goes into my CRM, sends out an email. Hey, nice to meet you. Can we schedule a time together to talk? See if how I can support you or assist you in your business, whether you fall into an associate, a partner, somebody to bring on the show, or an actual client, or maybe you have clients that my services combined with yours or individually can help. So you see, it's a systematic approach. So that's where that's my goal for this event, and I've been communicating that with the team as well. And I think we're all on the same page in terms of what that looks like and how we want to demonstrate it. But again, it's just a matter of us deciding and executing in that fashion, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I guess it's a lot of things. So if you're aware, it's the way that the program is structured that you could walk away with it, possibly give you an idea for your message. And then there's also the way the program is structured. I guess it's to be designed for there to be a takeaway. Because my follow-up question was, what's next? So after the event, what's next?
So we're gonna have the plan is to have a follow-up, right? And I think the follow-up, again, it's not in stone yet, but I think the follow-up is probably a virtual situation, right? So we can keep the vibes, keep the energy, keep the objectives flowing, right? I've been to some big organization events as well as yourself, and they don't just do an event just to do an event. Most times they do an event and grab a certain amount of people that attract to that event, right? And now you're part of a whole a string of emails for
Mm-hmm.
continuous events showing up either in person or mainly virtually. And a lot
Yeah.
of times you could, if you can be a part of that event, a presenter, a part of a conversation, and then they provide resources. It's another tool for marketing because you have a bunch of people that's a part of it. So you see where I'm going with this? It's like, how do we keep, don't count the rings on the chain, just know that the chain is still linked. And you
Mm-hmm.
get to add additional links. So there's no breakage. There's nothing that falls off.
So basically, this is it's a community building event in a way. I mean, in the end, it's a community building event.
Well, all we ever dealing with is people, and people is community, whether we
Yeah.
business owners or not.
So yeah, but some people's events are not community building events.
Understood? Yeah,
Yeah,
understood.
they're. So this will be good. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I just did was a case study there. I mean, but it's more so why you should attend events like this um with specific people, because community is at the heart of everything. And one bad habit we have, I hear it a lot here locally, but I'm imagining everywhere, is that we have a lot of the appearance of certain things happening, but they're not. So we talk about communities, we talk about ecosystems, we talk about strategic partnerships, we talk about all these things, but the action of those things doesn't happen. Allah, no one's making money together. Okay, so that's the thing. Everybody is not making, and I think it's a golden rule as we go spiritual or whatever. You think about your people. Are they eating? Are you eating? Are they? So if people start thinking about other people eating, you start building a system, an economic system that people are doing things. How can
Yep.
I do? Look, man, you might only be able to break $50, $100 right now.
Right.
Fair enough.
Right.
Let's do that.
Right.
So, but it's building communities where people talk, and I think a big thing, because I see Dr. King in the picture here. What people have to realize is that later in his life, Dr. King, after the civil rights passed, Dr. King was on some real radical economic stuff. Like, he was talking about bread and showing a disparity in class in this country, and he was really talking about, like, okay, we've got the so-called the civil rights, but okay, they're economic rights. And 60 something years later, and we have the look of it. We definitely have the look of it, but the guts, the up, and in events like that. So I guess I just I mean, I know what you want, so I'm just saying it's like, I think it's starting to talk about these events and say, okay, what are we achieving here? What are we doing? Because
Yeah.
look, it's easy to get a bunch of business friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we in business. Oh yeah, he's the CEO of this CEO. So all 5 people are the CEO. None of them have anybody working for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, so but that's because I'm a builder. I believe in building, and I want to see more people build. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, absolutely. There's builders, architects, carpenters, all of the above.
Yeah,
Connectors, you know what I mean? So just where's your role? Where do you fit in?
that's right.
One
Get in
role
with
at a
the
time.
team.
One role at a time. But yeah, man, I
Yeah,
appreciate it. Well, we have to do the close. I'm about to pay some bills real quick. Let me
do it.
just do some reminders here. So reminder, we got the Founders Hour. Don't forget our Founders Hours every other Thursday. Um, Not today, but next Thursday is our next Founders Hour. If you go to biztherapycoaching.com, BIZ, you can find the link and you can sign up for the upcoming events there. Okay. Um, Also, me and this guy,
What's that guy?
hey,
Oh
with
yeah, yeah. Look for yeah. We
you
coming with big news on that though.
yeah,
Got
yeah, yeah,
news.
yeah.
We hold on to that.
Every other Saturday. We don't have anything this Saturday right? Do we?
No,
No. It's
no.
not this Saturday. The following Saturday again.
It's the week
Check
of
us out.
Founders Hour.
Yeah, we could found us out. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. Okay. Um, and obviously we have KWK every other Thursday, the offset of Founders Hour, right? Most importantly, we've been talking business, we've been talking foundation, we've been talking decisions. Let's decide on how healthy our business is. Um, Sign up to come and get your complimentary. If you do a consultation, you'll get your first three, um, areas of business for free. Your score report, okay? Your small business health checkup. Um, but yeah, sign up. Go to biztherapycoaching.com, schedule a consultation, get your first three priorities straight, and then we'll move on to the next phase, and to the next phase, and to the next phase. Okay. It's important that we lay the proper foundation for our business. As entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs, as people trying, we wear several hats. Business is made up of seven important areas. We're underutilized in a lot of different areas, mainly finance, capitalism, um, 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 operations, and people, right? And if we don't have those three things in areas in position, it's hard for us to have great fulfillment of services, so we can keep rinsing and repeating and growing the business, right? And then we won't be able to talk about succession planning. What is that? We'll have an episode on succession planning in the weeks, months to come, and we'll definitely have our esteemed CPA here to talk about that, what that looks like from the tax and accounting side of things. All right. And also, if you are not part of a community, um, the Greater Durham Black Chamber of Commerce, the question is, do you know what a Chamber of Commerce is and what it does and what it's supposed to do for the community? So the Greater Durham Black Chamber of Commerce, check us out. Go to gdbcc.org, do your homework, do your research. We give you the top 3 reasons to join here. Become a better entrepreneur, get support for your business, and then support the growth and development of our ecosystem, as James has so eloquently stated earlier. It's about growth, it's about connectivity, and it's about deciding to do so. There is still time for us to make sure our next decade of young people behind us have a good foundation and a good way to walk. And it just takes one person with the initiative to impact another person, and then that kind of just spirals out, right? So on that note, I'm going to fall back. James, you got anything you want to add?
Nah, you've covered it all. It's all good.
Okay,
I'm gonna give the
cool.
LL.
I'm gonna do our outro here, so stand by.